You clicked on this video because you're tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, a deeper tired. The kind that comes from spending your days at the mercy of other people's words, other people's moods, other people's thoughtless comments that somehow burrow under your skin and stay there for hours. You're tired of the replay, going over the conversation again and again, getting angrier each time, composing responses you'll never say, watching yourself react in ways you swore you wouldn't, and not being able to stop. You're tired of giving people power they never earned and don't deserve. I see you. I see the tightness in your chest that's been there all evening. I see the jaw you keep catching yourself clenching. I see the part of you that wonders if this is just who you are now. The reactive one. The one who can't let things go. The one whose mood can be ruined by a single comment from someone who doesn't even matter. It isn't who you are. What I'm about to share with you is not anger management. It's not about controlling yourself harder or breathing through clenched teeth while pretending to be calm. It's about seeing something you haven't been able to see, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. By the end of our time together, you will understand exactly why people have this power over you, and more importantly, how that power ends. Not through discipline, not through gritting your teeth, through clarity. Stay with me. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you lay awake at night replaying a conversation, running it through your mind like a film you can't stop, revising what you said, perfecting what you should have said, getting angrier with each revision? Maybe it was something that happened today, a comment from a coworker, a tone from your partner, a look from a stranger that felt like judgment. Maybe it was something small, something you're almost embarrassed to still be thinking about. Or maybe it was something from years ago that still rises up sometimes, hot and unwelcome, as if it happened this morning. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? And it's not just the big things, it's the small things too. The way someone chews, the way they interrupt, the coworker who takes credit, the family member who always has an opinion, the stranger who doesn't say thank you when you hold the door. These tiny irritations that shouldn't matter but somehow do, that accumulate like grains of sand until you're carrying a desert inside you. Bothered, all the time, by everything, by everyone. Here is what nobody tells you about this. About anger, about irritation, about being bothered. It is not caused by other people. I know that sounds wrong. I know it feels like they cause it. Someone says something cruel and the anger flares. Someone acts inconsiderately and the irritation rises. Cause and effect. Obvious. Undeniable. But it isn't true. The anger is not in their words. The irritation is not in their behavior. It's in the story you tell yourself about their words, about their behavior, the meaning you attach, the intention you assume, the disrespect you perceive. That story is where your suffering lives, and that story is yours. You wrote it. You are writing it right now, every time you replay what happened. This is not blame. This is freedom. Because if they were truly the cause of your anger, you would be helpless. You would need every person in the world to behave perfectly before you could have peace. You would need them to change before you could be okay. And you already know they're not going to change. You've been waiting for people to change your whole life. How has that worked? Hello? But if the story is the cause, and the story is yours, then you have power here. Real power, the kind nobody can take from you because it was never outside you to begin with. Let me tell you something that changed how I understand all of this. There is a story told in the Zen tradition. A man is rowing his small boat across a river one early morning. The water is calm. A light mist hangs over the surface. He is alone with his thoughts, enjoying the quiet, making his way to the other shore. Suddenly, out of the mist, another boat appears. It's drifting straight toward him. He calls out. No response. The boat keeps coming. He waves his arms. He shouts louder. Still nothing. The boat does not change course. It collides with his. Hard. His supplies spill. Water splashes into the hull. The side of his vessel is scraped and damaged. And something in him ignites. Fury rises from his belly into his chest. His face flushes hot. He spins around, ready to unleash everything he has on this careless, thoughtless, inconsiderate fool who couldn't be bothered to watch where he was going. And then he sees it. The boat is empty. There is no one there. The vessel had come untied from somewhere upstream and drifted into him on its own. Just wood and rope and current. No malice, no carelessness, no one. And here is what I want you to notice. Watch what happens to his anger. It vanishes. Not slowly, not through effort, not because he breathes deeply and counts to 10 and tells himself to calm down. It simply disappears, like smoke when the fire goes out, like a fist when you open your hand. The collision still happened. His boat is still damaged. His supplies are still wet. His morning is still disrupted. The inconvenience is identical. By every logical measure, the frustration should be identical. But there is no one to be angry at, and so there is no anger. Do you understand what this means? The event did not change. His circumstances did not change. The damage to his boat did not repair itself. What changed was the presence of a target. His anger needed someone to blame. Someone who did this to him. Someone whose carelessness or selfishness or stupidity or disrespect he could rage against, a villain in the story. Without that villain, the anger could not exist. It had nowhere to land, nothing to attach to, and so it dissolved on its own. You've experienced this yourself. You've been furious at someone, absolutely certain of their wrongdoing, only to discover they had a reason you didn't know about. They weren't ignoring your message. Their phone was broken. They weren't being cold. They had just received terrible news. They weren't being rude. They were in physical pain and barely holding it together. And the moment you learned this, what happened? The anger dissolved, didn't it? Same event, different story, no anger. Your anger was never about what happened. It was about the story you told yourself about what happened. Now, here is the question that will change your life if you let it. What if every boat is empty? What if the coworker who dismissed your idea in the meeting is an empty boat, drifting through life on currents of their own insecurity, their own desperate need to feel important, their own childhood wounds you know nothing about, not steering toward you, just drifting, and you happen to be there? What if the family member who said that cutting thing at dinner is an empty boat, pushed by patterns formed decades ago, reacting to fears and hurts that have nothing to do with you, not attacking you, just drifting, bumping into you on their way somewhere else? What if the stranger who cut you off in traffic, the friend who forgot to call, the partner who snapped at you for no reason, are all empty boats, not steering toward you with malice, not trying to disrespect you, not thinking about you at all, just drifting, propelled by conditioning they didn't choose and probably can't even see? This is not about excusing harmful behavior. This is not about becoming a doormat. This is not about pretending cruelty doesn't exist in the world. It's about seeing clearly. It's about recognizing that most people, most of the time, are not doing things to you. They are simply doing things, and you happen to be there. Their behavior is information about them, not about you. Does this make sense? This story is not about a man on a river 2,000 years ago. This story is about you, tonight. And every night you've lain awake replaying conversations that ended hours ago. Every time you felt that heat rise in your chest because of something someone said or didn't say, every argument you've rehearsed in the shower with someone who wasn't there and will never hear your perfect response. You have been fighting boats that were never steering toward you. You have been exhausting yourself, battling phantoms, treating accidents of conditioning like personal attacks, treating sleepwalkers like enemies who carefully planned their offense against you. And the toll of that war is written in your life, in the tension you carry in your shoulders, in the relationships that have grown careful and quiet because people don't know which version of you they'll get. In the peace you cannot seem to find, no matter how many people finally act the way you think they should, because they will never all act right. The river is full of boats. They will keep drifting into you for the rest of your life. That will never change. The question is not how to stop the collisions. The question is whether you will keep searching for someone to blame in vessels that were empty all along. The Buddha taught something that speaks directly to this. He said that when something painful happens, it is like being struck by an arrow. This is the first arrow. It hurts. We cannot always avoid it. Life will send arrows. But then we shoot ourselves with a second arrow. This is our reaction to the pain, our rage, our rumination, our obsessive replay, our story about what it means and who is to blame, and what this says about us and our worth and our life. The first arrow is often beyond your control. Someone says something unkind. Someone acts thoughtlessly. Someone bumps into your boat. The arrow lands. But the second arrow, that is always your choice. Most people who clicked on this video tonight are not suffering from first arrows. They are bleeding from second arrows. They keep shooting into their own chest, over and over, in the shower, in bed at 2 a.m, in traffic, at dinner. Every time you replay, you shoot again. Every time you rehearse your response, you shoot again. Every time you tell yourself what their words meant about you, your worth, your value, you shoot again, and you wonder why you're in so much pain. You can stop shooting. You are allowed to stop. Here is another way to see this. When someone acts in anger toward you, when someone is rude or dismissive or cold, you are not seeing their true self. You are seeing their weather, their internal storm. Think about that for a moment. When it rains, do you take it personally? When there is thunder, do you assume the sky is angry at you specifically? When it's cold outside, do you feel disrespected by the temperature? Of course not. That would be absurd. And yet when someone carries their storm into a room and it rains on you, you take it so personally. You absorb it. You make it about you. You let their weather become your weather. Their clouds fill your sky. What if you could stand in someone's rain and stay dry inside? Not cold, not disconnected, not walled off from the world, but simply clear about what is yours and what is theirs. Their storm is theirs. Your peace is yours. These do not have to be connected. You've noticed this, haven't you? There are people who can say anything to you and it doesn't land. It slides right off. And there are people who can raise an eyebrow and it ruins your entire day. The difference is not in them. The words are just words. The difference is in how much authority you've given them over your inner state. You can revoke that authority whenever you choose. Now you might be wondering, this sounds beautiful, but how do I actually do this? When someone says something and I feel that heat rising before I can even think, what do I actually do? Give me something practical. All right, here is something you can use tomorrow, today, right now. When you feel the anger or irritation beginning to rise, I want you to do 3 things. First, notice the heat. Just notice it. Don't fight it. Don't judge yourself for it. Just observe. Name it silently. There's the anger. There's the fire starting. I feel it in my chest. I feel it in my jaw. This simple act of noticing creates space. You are no longer the anger. You are the one observing the anger. This is an enormous shift. This is everything. Second, ask yourself one question. What story am I telling about this? Not what happened, but what am I adding to what happened? Am I assuming they did this on purpose? Am I deciding this means disrespect? Am I making this mean something about my worth? Find your story, because your anger is not in the event. It never was. It's in the story. Third, whisper to yourself 2 words, empty boat. Just that, empty boat. Remind yourself that this person is not steering toward you. They are drifting on currents they didn't choose and probably can't see. Their behavior is information about them, not about you. Notice, question, remember, empty boat. This is not suppression. I want to be clear about that. Suppression is pushing down the anger while it still burns. Suppression is swallowing fire. This is different. This is dissolution. This is removing the fuel so there is nothing left to burn. When you take away the villain, the story has no heat. There is nothing to push down because there is nothing there. At first, this will feel awkward, clumsy. You will catch yourself after the anger has already taken hold, after you've already snapped, after you've already said the thing you can't unsay. That's fine. Catch yourself after. Then the next time, catch yourself during. Eventually, you will catch it at the very beginning, in that tiny gap between what happens and how you respond. And in that gap, you will find your freedom. I want to tell you something important. You are not an angry person. I don't know who told you that. Maybe no one said it out loud. Maybe you told yourself. Maybe you saw your father in the mirror one day, or your mother, or whoever taught you by their example that anger is how you respond to pain. But you are not an angry person. You are a person who has been reacting automatically to stories you didn't know you were writing. That's all. And now you know. And knowing changes everything. What you call being too reactive, what you've criticized yourself for, what you felt ashamed of late at night, that is sensitivity. That is the capacity to feel deeply. It is not a flaw in your character. It is a gift you haven't learned to carry properly, and I'm showing you how to carry it now. You have permission to stop keeping score, all those tallies you're carrying. Every slight, every disrespect, every time someone didn't appreciate you the way they should have, every small injustice you filed away, you can put that ledger down. It was only ever hurting you. They don't even know it exists. You have permission to let people be wrong. Wrong about you. Wrong about the situation. Wrong about everything. You do not have to correct every error. You do not have to win every argument. You do not have to make them see what they refuse to see. You can let them drift past on their empty boats, wrong and harmless, while you sit in peace on your shore. You have permission to stop protecting your image, that version of yourself you work so hard to defend, the one that can't be disrespected, can't be overlooked, can't be dismissed. What if you let that image go? What would be left? I'll tell you what would be left. You, just you, undefended, free. You do not have to carry this anymore. The title of this teaching promises you will never get angry or bothered by people again. Never. That word sounds impossible, doesn't it? Like something only monks achieve after decades of silent meditation in mountain caves. Something beyond normal humans. But never is not about perfection. Never is about transformation. It doesn't mean you'll never feel a flicker of irritation. It means that flicker will no longer own you. It will no longer send you into the spiral. It will no longer steal your peace for hours or days or years, because you will see the empty boat. You will feel the second arrow before you shoot it. You will recognize their weather, and choose not to step into the rain. This is not suppression, this is not pretending. This is genuinely, truly, no longer being bothered, because there's no one there to be bothered by. If someone else can decide what you feel with a single sentence, a single look, a single action, a single failure to act, isn't that the ultimate slavery? You have made yourself a puppet and handed the strings to every person you encounter. Anyone can pull, anyone can make you dance. The coworker, the stranger, the family member, anyone. Is that the life you want to keep living? You can cut those strings tonight, right now, in this moment, not by becoming cold, not by building walls so high no one can reach you, but by finally understanding that your peace was never theirs to take. It was only ever yours to give away, and you have been giving it away so freely to anyone who asked, to people who didn't even ask. You can stop. As you move through your days after this, you will be tested. I promise you that. Someone will say something. Someone will do something. Someone will be careless or rude or thoughtless or cruel. And you will feel that old familiar heat beginning to rise, that tightness in your chest, that clenching in your jaw. When that happens, I want you to remember 2 words: empty boat. Just an empty boat, and watch what happens to your anger when there is no one to be angry at. This has never been about them. Other people's behavior is information about them, not about you. When you truly understand this, not just intellectually but in your bones, their power over you ends. Not because you've conquered anything, because you've finally seen clearly what was always true. You are not broken. You have never been broken. You simply forgot that your peace belongs to you, that no one can take it unless you hand it over. And now you remember. Everything you need is already within you. The calm you've been seeking out there, in other people's behavior, in their approval, in their respect, in their finally treating you the way you deserve, that calm is not out there. It never was. It's in here. It's been here the whole time, waiting for you to stop looking elsewhere. The fist becomes an open hand. Not through effort, not through strain, through release. You simply stop clenching. And you can stop clenching now. May you find the peace that has been waiting for you all along. May you rest tonight in a mind that is finally quiet. May the boats drift past you on the river without disturbing your shore. May you walk forward from this moment lighter than you came. And if this teaching has touched something in you, if you feel even slightly more free than you did when you clicked on this video, leave me a single word in the comments. Just write, empty boat. Let me know this reached you. Let it be your commitment to yourself that something shifts tonight. You are ready for this. You have always been ready. Now go in peace.